The Rossendale Players at 90.
The foundations of the society were firmly laid by the members of the WEA, the Workers' Educational Association, whose drama section decided that reading and studying plays didn't complete their interest, and so they decided to do a play and formed themselves into a separate group, calling themselves the Rossendale Players.
They prepared their first play by meeting and rehearsing in a wooden hut on the bleak hillside above Stacksteads, and so they first appeared on stage in Somerset Maule's Circle in the Victoria Hall Waterfoot on the 6th of October 1936.
They progressed from regular productions so independently that in 1940 the WEA expelled themselves. In other words, they kicked us out. They were Labour and we were drama, and we couldn't care less.
And so they continued producing without a break, even through the war, and in 1950 presented their 50th play, The Man Who Came to Dinner, with a cast of 25 members. Unfortunately, after this production, the hall became unavailable, and the search began to find a new home.
A determined effort by the committee resulted in the lease of St John's School, a large, unused schoolroom in Cloughfold, and work began to build a stage, proscenium, and lighting galleries, box office, toilets, and the purchase of over 200 chairs in readiness for the 51st production, perhaps appropriately called While the Sun Shines, only 9 months after the move.
So close was the deadline for opening night that the workmen left the building only hours before the first performance, and the cast made their first appearance in hired scenery and with no time for a dress rehearsal.
Cloughfold was the home for the next 60 productions, playing 7 or 8 performances each time to audiences of over 200, and it became the Valley's golden age of theatre, with plays, musicals, revues and pantomimes by more than a dozen companies in theatres, public halls, schools, canteens and church halls.
For the Players, this began festival successes and a growing reputation throughout the Northwest theatre world.
Once again, the Players were forced into a move from Cloughfold when the lease of the school could not be renewed, and so resulted in the start of the Society's nomadic years.
With scenery, props and wardrobes stored in garages and homes, rooms were rented for meetings, rehearsals and social gatherings. The members were determined that the plays were still presented, but in no less than 10 different venues, ranging from the length of the valley from Bacup to Helmshore, and often reduced to only 2 plays a year and with only 4 performances of each.
With scenery, props and wardrobes stored in garages, homes, rooms were rented for meetings, rehearsal and social gatherings. The members were determined that plays were still presented, but in no less than 10 different venues, ranging the length of the valley from Bacup to Helmshore, and often reduced to only 2 plays each season and with only 4 performances each time. All this time, members were engaged in viewing a variety of buildings, factories, chapels, disused halls, but none proved financially viable or suitable for adaptation.
From the frustration of their search in 1970, the Players formed the Theatre for Rossendale Association, along with the other drama and music groups, to put pressure on the council to consider providing a civic theatre to accommodate the different groups.
Hopes were raised when the Lambert Howarth Company offered to the council the former King's Cinema, which they were using for storage, and hopes were raised that it could be converted within 3 years.
Amicable discussions among the groups brought the realisation of the different needs in seating capacity by the societies, ranging from 150 to 1,000. Financial constraints also put a halt on this proposal, so sadly there could be no further considerations of the King's.
The Players continued their travelling programme, and in 1990, determined to intensify fundraising, they launched their first stage appeal to help find and fund that permanent home.
Building searches continued, but always brought disappointment. until in November 1991, a for sale notice in the Free Press caught the eye, and arrangements were made to visit the former Bethel Baptist Lecture Hall in Waterford, which seemed to offer the potential and great possibilities for adapting into a little theatre.
Further visit by the committee and members confirmed the decision to make an offer to buy, but with the asking price being more than 10 times the amount in the Players' bank account, and a challenging bid from a neighbouring business, members had to commit to a deadline.
The members found many, often ingenious ways of fundraising, including sponsored events, round-the-hill walks, swimming, play reading, and even slimming.
Concerts by local bands, choirs, young singers and professional entertainers swelled the funds, which were also raised by grand draws, mock auctions and donations from members and audiences.
Among the most popular events and money raisers in the calendar was the annual dinner theatre production in Bacup Leisure Hall,
especially the award-winning old-time music hall celebrating the Society's 60th anniversary in 1996.
But the major amounts came from local charitable trusts, generously eager to see the completion of this mammoth undertaking. Still, tensions ran very high as the date of the final payment loomed and was only met less than 24 hours before the seller's deadline.
With ownership of the building secured, the fundraising continued, and many members buckled down to emptying, cleaning and repairing the building, while meetings and rehearsals were held in the cold and semi-derelict hall before funds were sufficient for the professional to be engaged.
Initially, it was thought to employ an architect to design the theatre, and several were interviewed and one chosen with a suggested design.
However, after further consideration, it was decided that by contracting local tradesmen and with great support and backing from very willing and capable members, we would arrive at the result we wanted.
Although there were setbacks and frustrations, the theatre progressed to completion in time for the opening ceremony, 64 years and a few hundred yards from the first showing in 1936.
Celebrated with champagne performance on the anniversary for former members, officers and funders in an appropriately made The Circle, the obvious choice of play for that very special opening.
A successful application to the Millennium Small Lotteries Fund supported the provision of the emergency exit landing and the assisted hearing loop and prompted the naming of the new Millennium Theatre.